Hi students, let's look at this question here, which is on complex number, which is taken from the year 1998, paper 2 question 12. I think this is a pretty standard question that we like to ask, so just to take note, which is the complex number Q is given by this expression here, so in either order we can either do first part or second part. What I would suggest is just look at the theta over 2 here and theta over 2 here and theta here, alright? So meaning we need to change to theta over 2. That I think that's the first part. And the other thing is we can do either part. Okay, and this question, essentially, if you get the answer, it'll be alright. You get the answer for the second part, then meaning to say likely your first part is also correct. So I think there are a few ways of doing this. So EI theta, don't try and use trigo form, so it'll be very complicated if you're going to use double angle formula for this kind of question, because it gets very messy very quickly, right? So essentially what I'll suggest is, since I want to change to theta over 2, regardless, I could, theta over 2 will also mean that I can change to negative theta over 2, because we could actually use this identity here, cos A minus cos A is positive cos A, then causative sine negative A is negative sine A. Okay, so usually this kind of question we need to do that. Now there are a few ways to manipulate this. The first one is I prefer to do this. The first method 1, multiply by EI negative theta over 2, okay, for top and bottom. The other one, it will be factorizing it out, but we will talk about that later. So the first one, Q, will be EI theta over 2 and minus I theta. So the first way of doing it, I'll just multiply by E minus I theta over 2. Now this is what I prefer. I think sometimes, but some students don't. I think most students likely wouldn't like to do this method. So I will write down the second method later. So this will straight out give us theta over 2 and minus theta over 2. Then this is theta over 2. So the whole goal is either negative theta over 2 or theta over 2. Both are fine. Alright. So the second one, method 2, would then be method 2 is factorizing E theta over 2 out, I think. Yeah, I think so. Oh, this is positive, sorry. Yeah, so there you go. This, for the second one, what we'd get is Q EI theta 1 minus EI theta. So just take note, this could be half theta plus half theta. This is EI 0, right? This is EI theta over 2 plus I theta over 2. So very quickly, what we can do is just make sure you understand that the 0 is also, you can write 0 is pi over theta over 2 minus theta over 2, right? It's a 0 pair. So then what we'll get is EI theta over 2, EI theta over 2. This is EI theta over 2 times EI minus theta over 2. Okay, so this would also work. Yeah, this will also work. So I of course, whichever way you're using, just make sure that you stick to the one that you're comfortable, then you get the same expression. So this both outcome is the same. Okay, so from here onwards, what I'll continue is, this will be, because I need the real imaginary part, right? Okay, so okay, I'll just change top and bottom to the what do you call it, the trigo form. Bottom here will be cosine negative theta over 2 plus I sine negative theta over 2 minus of cosine theta over 2 plus I sine theta over 2. Okay, then in this case here, we're going to use the identity, which is cosine theta equals to, okay, so essentially cosine negative theta over 2. Just remember cosine will just absorb the negative. And then sine negative sine theta will just be negative sine theta over 2. Okay, so there you go. This would be cosine theta over 2 plus I sine theta over 2. That is cosine theta over 2 minus I sine theta over 2 minus cosine theta over 2 minus I sine theta over 2. Because we just need the real imaginary part, so just get this 2I sine theta over 2 here, cosine theta over 2 here, plus it's quite then split it up both sides. What we get is negative 2I sine theta over 2 cosine theta over 2 plus I sine theta over 2 negative 2I sine theta over 2. Okay, shouldn't be an issue. What happens here would then be we just slowly cosine over sine, that will be cot, right? So negative 1 over, okay, maybe I just multiply the bottom with I, top with I, get rid of the I there. So that will be cot theta over 2 2I square, yeah, which is 2 2. Yeah, is that the answer? Yep. Then of course the other side, what I'll get is I'll cancel off this one, this one, this one, this one. That will be minus half. So this is half, so minus half plus half cot theta over 2 I. Alright. Yep. So the real part Q is negative half, and this is the imaginary part. Of course, don't forget you can also use calculator and check your answer. So usually what I'll say is yeah, just check it. There will be, this case here will be EI theta. So I'm gonna put, I'm not sure, I think likely you can check answer. So EI theta, we can just put any value. Let's say we just put, because theta is 0 to, we can just put EI 1 if you want to. Okay, theta is 1, then 1 minus EI 1. Okay, what we can do is, oh, something is wrong. See if this works. So I'm going to put 1 minus EI 1 also. Then I'm going to put this divided by this one. Okay, maybe I just, this divided by this over here. Yeah, so there you go. This is minus half. So essentially, I have the confidence to say that likely my answer is correct. Okay, so hence, the real part of Q is just negative half, which is the first part. But second part will be the imaginary part of Q, which is half cot theta. Is that it? Yep. Okay. Theta 2, my goodness. Okay. That's how we do this questionnaire proficiently. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll see you in the next question.